Hello and a very warm welcome to all you wonderful people present here. Let me welcome you to the Thai Global Summit 2020 presented by Control-S. Well, what a fabulous, fabulous panel discussions we have had this entire 3 days. And yes, the last day was the epic of out of all. Right now, the topic that we are going to discuss here is something very special to me. I am not an avid reader, but I like people who write because writing actually, somehow expresses your talent, your, beauty of what you feel about. Writing is, I feel it's very divine. And somebody who can write, I feel they are very divine. So yes, the next panel discussion, which is going to happen here is about the art of writing. The art of writing, which I feel is a God gift. And well, yeah, we have some gifted members who are sitting on this panel to share their ideas with you, to share their knowledge, their expertise on the same. If any questions, yes, you can regulate it to them. And we have a very lovely person who's going to be moderating this entire session. Let me introduce you to her, ladies and gentlemen. I very proudly and very earnestly introduce Sudha Reddy. Sudha Reddy is the head of product for Sabio US as well as the general manager for Sabio India. Sudha is a thought leader and a solution executive with experience in product, technology, and advertising. Well, I can go on and on with her and her accreditation, but right now, let me call her on the panel here so that she can introduce and take this panel discussion a little further and enlighten us that what is this art of writing? Sudha, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rupali.
Well, looking forward for a fabulous panel discussion. I am going to be at the back end with you in case if you need me anytime, you can let me know. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and a great introduction to the panel. I myself consider writing to be divine as well. It's a gift of God, and that's something I have struggled all my life. I write posts for several publications, and I think I've been trying to get my book off the ground for almost last 7 years. So that's my challenge, and I really want to learn from these superb gifted authors how they have got to where they are, how they actually release their books. So let me introduce you to these two fabulous ladies. Firstly, we have Nadia Vincent. Nadia is an author, advisor, and CEO of Digital Transformation Leaders. She's also recognized as the top 10 global digital transformation thought leaders. And she's been transforming businesses ranging from Fortune 100 to small businesses to succeed in digital age. Her book, which is Leveraging Digital Transformation, is a reference and a practical guide for executives and managers as they transform their organizations for the digital age. So let me give the stage over to Nadia. Nadia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, Huda. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me, Huda. It's a pleasure to be here and to inspire who needs to write, who want to write, and who love to write.
Nice, nice. And the second gifted authors that we have is Jesenka Karapajic. Jesenka is the founder of Astute Aviation, and she's also author of Beyond Airline Disruptions, Thinking and Managing Anew. She also blogs at beyonddisruptions.blogspot.com. She's also a top 50 global thought leader and influencer on strategy, culture, customer loyalty, and also the top 150 women B2B thought leaders. So let's hear from her, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Jesenka.
To start it, hello, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it because I really like writing. I started it very early in my career. It's about businesses, things I do actually, and questions I had. So that's about what I do, and my background is airline industry, so everything I experience is related to interest in airline industry. And I work also for a software company and set up my own software company. So it's a mix of almost everything, looking at things connected from sides.
Yeah, and you actually brought this, it's a really good segue to even talk about hear about a little bit more into your personal journey. Like, how did you even, from your experiences and all of that, but how did you decide to write a book, or how did you get to be where you are today? Let's start with you, Jesenka.
So me be the first. Okay, so the idea of what I'm writing about now is very old. I started to think about how to improve actually things that I was facing. It was about I started with strategy. I started with the long-term planning, long time ago, 40 plus years ago of experience, and then actually moving through all other stages of planning processes, which is commercial planning, including aircraft selections, including network planning, including scheduling, down to operations. As I said, always interested in technology and introducing technology, and on top of that, innovating things that obviously didn't work. There are lots of legacy habits that was very, very difficult to change in airline industry, because it's such a complex and dynamic industry that, and of course, linked to safety, and doing and changing something there from just one side is almost impossible.
Yes.
So actually, from the beginning, I started to question what the kind of decision people make, starting from the top, with the data that is really just aggregate data and averages, starting with cost, and now not much information about passenger experience. And that was actually a big problem, which I started to write about actually at the very beginning in house magazines, and then it extended through my career because these new things that cannot be implemented. Actually, you have to do things that you are told to do. Had to be actually published more widely, talked about it to inspire thinking, new way of thinking, to people asking questions, people understanding what doesn't work and why. And what I found during this way, that the only truth about where the airline is now, not where it was last year or last 6 months, what is happening now, because things are changing very quickly. It is through changes in the plan assumptions in planned operations. So that's where actually everything they had before that meets reality, and that reality can lead us back to find the answer. That's roughly how I started to write. Actually, I set up, in order to fix the information problem, I set my own startup, software company, developed a software. It was awarded with a smart award. They got investment, things like that. Then I understand from experience, understood that people just can't just have a software. If they don't organize everything around it, things that connect strategy and operation. That's the main purpose of my work and writing. So I attended conferences, I thought about it, I blogged about it, and I'm still doing it. And then at some stage I felt I'll write a book, because that's so complex that you can't just do it in 1 hour, or write it in an article and things like that. And what actually is interesting, that after 10 years, I was asked to write another edition, because things went very bad because of the problem with decision making in the airline industry. So I wrote another edition. This time it's revised. It's different from the first one pretty much, but it is about thinking and managing anew. That's the subtitle of the book. So that's something that drove me to write.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Nadia, let's hear from you. How did you end up being where you are? And I think this is, yeah, sometimes the topic drives the book, and sometimes the book, the passion for actually writing drives the topic. So it's been interesting to hear from Jesenka, who said like her theme was more where the topic drove the book itself. So would love to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Well, for me, with writing, it's a story because there have been different type of writing in my life. One thing is that I'm multicultural and my mother tongue is French, and I used to love writing, but writing for literature and writing in French, for me, at that time, it was, you write to impress. You can use as many big words. I mean, it's like a melody. There is harmony in writing.
Yeah.
And that's the type of writing I used to do. But then after I finished university, what happened? I moved to the States. And there was a cultural shift. There you were, the type of writing I was doing, it was more professional. You write to communicate a message, not to impress, not to confuse. And also one thing is that when you're writing in English, there are so many people, I mean, that's the global language. There are people with different mother tongue. So you write to write clearly, to communicate. That's what I learned from my teachers. And unless you are in literature where you want to impress people who have another level.
Yeah.
So that was my writing. But at this phase, I was in technology. I was more interested in the technology than in the writing. So the writing, I did put it aside and I use it for anything related to home, to decoration, to my passions, to literature. But I didn't use it very much professionally. The writing that I did professionally was straight to the point, functional writing, business writing, technical writing.
Yeah.
And writing was not a passion anymore because technology has taken my life.
Yeah.
Technology had taken over.
Yeah.
But then something will happen. As a technology leader, a project manager, I've been working, implementing digital transformation in many organizations. Creating software, developing system. That's the type of functional writing, precise writing for an international audience. So writing was not at all in my agenda, and I didn't even think about writing a book. Until what I saw, the disruption happening in the world. And most projects I was leading or transformation program, there was such a lack of understanding about change management, about the transformation that is happening, and about how to handle it to success.
Yeah.
And I realized that I was very good at it, probably because of my international background. I lived in different countries, worked in so many different cultures. I was able to handle change and transformation different than others.
Yeah.
See? So I realized there was a message that I had to really pass on. I realized that I had to help more people. So therefore, because of my professional thing, so now I become the writer. So it's really the need for the technology that drove me to become a writer again. And it took me months, because it's like years of knowledge I'm putting together. And it's months of writing, rewriting. And one thing is that as a writer, one thing you should know is that do not expect to just write whatever copy that you want to write in one go perfectly. No, there is the time where you get the inspiration, the message. And there is the time for the correction. Do not interrupt the inspiration phase. Correct. Especially if you are not writing in your mother tongue, you are thinking, okay, is it the right way to say that? No, don't stop. Even with the mistake, keep writing, because it's like you are downloading. Don't stop the download just to correct. You see what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think, those are awesome like things to learn from as well. And both of you actually have written tech books as well, one on aviation and one in digital transformation. That itself is quite inspiring. And in our attendees, several of them are actually entrepreneurs that are not just looking to like write books. Some of them are, but a lot of them are looking to even like be diligent with their blogging, diligent with their blog posts on a daily basis, or write about tech topics that they are passionate about and struggle with it. So I want to hear from each of you on what are the habits and traits that work for you, and what are some of the habits that you guys recommend these entrepreneurs to stick to? Is there a certain discipline to follow? Even myself, right? Like I've been struggling to like get something off for a long time. And part of it is laziness. I take onus for that. But I want to hear about like your tips, or if there is any discipline that you recommend to these entrepreneurs or potential authors. So Nadia, do you want to take that question on?
Okay, yes, my pleasure.
Yeah.
It depends, writing is depend on what you want to write and the frequency. Let's say you have a blog, you want to write regularly. So you need to put a discipline to that. If you are writing a business plan, it might be just a one-time off. So first, you need to see your goal. Do you want to write continuously, or depend on the frequency you want to deliver something? Then you need to have some discipline for writing. For example, if you have a blog or whatever that you need regular content, you need to really see yourself. Some people are more inspired in the morning, like myself. I'm very inspired in the morning. Early, I can wake up and write a lot. And in the evening, it will be difficult for me to write. It take me twice the time, and sometimes I don't get the inspiration. So it really depends about you. When do you think is the best time for you to write? When you are more inspired to write, then you need to get some discipline, maybe schedule some time around that for regular writing, if you are looking to write regularly. And there are many ways to facilitate your writing. It's really creating the habit. Remove everything that could be that could distract you, just to prepare you to write. And sometimes you will think that you have no inspiration, or you don't feel like it. Doesn't matter, just start writing. And sometimes while you are starting to write, your brain just get into it, and then you write. So the first thing that you need is the discipline.
Yeah. So in a way, what you're saying is, if let's say I am a nocturnal, or like if I am like, I work better at nights or in the morning, decide on a time every day. And even if nothing, like just say, maybe write for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but stick to that on a daily basis to even get that habit going, right?
Exactly, exactly. Whether you feel like it or not.
Yeah, whether you like it or not. And there's another strategy I heard about from one of the other authors, which is, even if it doesn't make sense, open the book or open the journal and keep writing. Like whatever comes to you, some of it might make sense. And what you said about divine intervention, and I think that kind of plays out in the same way. Sometimes even if nothing, there are times when something does like flow through you, and that itself might become a blog post. That's super great advice for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something else. It's about note. Especially if you are someone who is writing content or in stories, sometimes you may not know what you're going to write about. But one tip for topic writing, it's in your life, in everyday life.
Yeah.
You might not be writing, but something might happen with a friend, with a family, and you get a lesson from it, a message. Always have something to take note. Just take a quick note and leave it there. Leave it there. Something, but write the key message that you get from that instant. That inspiration, you leave there. And then at some point, when you do not know what to write about, take a look at your note. You might get inspiration from it to develop it further.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for anything that's out there that attracts you, I guess. Or be conscious is what you're saying.
Yes, and take note of it, because being conscious, yes, but if you don't take note and leave it the note, you will forget about it.
That's true.
What's important is the note. It may not make sense, or you might not need it right away. You might not use it, or like you could use it as well. But take the note, leave the note there, because at some point it will be helpful.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Jesenka, do you have more to add to that? I'm sure you do.
A bit more, very similar things to Nadia's. But what I think and what I would advise is before you start writing, you must have some good idea about general idea what you want to write about. And for this business writing, it's so important, because there are so many things that interfere, so many interlap. You need to just be clear about that. And then what I would advise you, what I didn't do when I was embarked on a journey for my first edition of the book, is you have to map the process. The publisher will before, actually it happened later, but when you approach a publisher, then you have to have that map, and then to demonstrate what you want to write about. But before that, you have to have your own map, because you may change things when ideas come, as in my case comes early in the morning most of the time, but they can come out when I wash dishes or do some other things completely unrelated. And in the beginning, I didn't know that I have to capture those ideas. They come in sentences, things like that. So I had to learn to take the opportunity to do that. If I'm driving, that's the worst scenario. You can't, and they just disappear. So and putting them, when they come, you need to have a place where the place to put them somewhere on your map. Otherwise, you end up, as I did in the beginning, with 300 pages of writing, lots of files and things like that, and having difficulties to put them together in a way, especially in my case, it's very complex area, and you have to describe it in a very simple way, that the way that you can communicate, touch your readers and drive them to action. If it is a business, they need to be inspired to do something about it. So it is about, and the time is very, if you are working at the same time, it's very difficult. But as Nadia said, that's when the discipline really comes into place, and timing when you are best in writing. So
that's cool advice as well. I mean, I think you know the topic as well as like have the discipline. But I guess one question I would then have is, most entrepreneurs, like, they're new to writing, even if they know the topic, even if they might have the discipline, they might not sometimes have the words, right? Or there might be some other challenge. So I want to quickly hear about what is like some of the biggest challenges you faced when writing? Like, let's like say a quick, like 1 or 2 challenges, like let's like say what one challenge that you faced and how you overcame it. So Jesenka, do you want to quickly take that on? We have only like 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. So the challenges I faced are getting the authentic information from people. That's what I wanted to include, in other abstract things. I offer actually a very practical solution, new solution, how the future of work in the airline, making decisions, things like that. So the biggest challenge is to get some information from people working now in airlines, which was very difficult because they're a closed environment. They wouldn't talk about provocative questions, answer the provocative. But I expanded it and found the solution from this very difficult problem, challenge, by contacting people directly outside of the industry if needed. The systems thinker, I read a lot, things like that, and interviewed fantastic people. And then that's how I got answers to my questions.
Got it. So keep talking to as many people as you can, like especially the specific industry, talk to like and connect and network with those people. And that would be like a key thing to do for sure. Yeah. How about you, Nadia?
The challenge that I see and that I have for writing is I always think, oh gosh, that's a lot to do. And I'm so busy. I have a full agenda because writing it's on the side because I am a business leader principally. So I have to find time to write. And what I find that helped me is the first thing I say, it's the discipline to book yourself for the writing time and choose early in the morning. And the second thing I have is to have the outline, like the table of content of the book, because you see it's so big. I say, oh my God, even when you have data, you have information, you think that's a lot. How am I going to structure it? So first, think of the message that you want to, the main message you want your content, whether it's a book or a webinar, summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences. That's one thing. And then create your outline. The outline could be the chapters.
Got it.
Because after that, whatever information that you get, you know how to place it in the outline, in the different chapters. And then you see yourself moving. But until you do not have that outline is the backbone. And that's what is going to encourage you, because otherwise you're looking, oh, that's too much to write. When will I have the time and this, and I might not do it. That's it.
True. As they say, right? A writer never has a vacation. So you're anywhere, you're any place, like you actually have to keep conscious. You have to think about it. You have to keep going. You have to also like keep it focused as well. So that's actually really good advice, even for me, who is struggling with like thinking about writing. I think the one takeaway for me is that think about just first, even if I don't know what to write about, maybe I should like think about starting to have a discipline, like daily 10 minutes, and like maybe something will evolve. That's one thing that I would like think about taking from here. But and this is like a topic that is so dear to my heart, because I personally am learning as well. And it's from women like you who are not just authors, you actually have your own businesses and you're continuously managing them, as well as finding time to write. Like that's been super inspirational for me. So I can't thank you guys enough for making this time to make this happen and teaching us. But to like have a final takeaway, if you had to give one piece of advice for any author, potential author or entrepreneur that's trying to write, if they want to start doing something today, like it's like this day, what would be one key takeaway from you guys to them?
Let's start writing. Oh, sorry, was it me? don't procrastinate. Don't think too much about start writing.
Start writing. Yeah, that's really good advice. I think, especially for me, I need it so much.
Yeah, you may think it out too much. You think it out too much that you never write.
Which I did, like for almost 6.5 to 7 years now.
But let me tell you that I have several leaders, business leaders, who come to me saying, oh gosh, it's been 7, 8 years. I want to write a book, Nadia. How did you do it? How long did it take you? I mean, it took a long time, but if you never start, if you are looking at it, it's too big, you will never go far. So start writing. And remember the structure.
Yeah.
And don't give up. Yeah. That's it. That's my never give up, because it's difficult, but don't give up. In the end, I will be happy about it.
Yeah. So those are wonderful pieces of advice that we have, guys. Don't give up and start writing today. Don't procrastinate. Don't say you can't write or anything. I think if anything we need to take away from this session, and art of writing is just not like about like writing your blog posts or authors, but it's for your everyday life probably. And this, I'm hoping, like will be the takeaway for us. And with that, I close this session. I firstly want to thank like these beautiful ladies, Nadia and Jesenka, for making time, especially in different time zones, and being able to speak to us about the art of writing. Thank you guys. And we hope to take it from here, and look forward to connecting with you another time.
Thank you very much as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.